They were
you?
so good. They were chocolate cake pops.
I was in the middle of a conversation and all I see is this cake pop come out from the side of my peripheral vision. And Josh goes, "Do you want one? These are delicious. I've had 5 of them already."
I think that's the only thing he talked to me about at that party were the cake pops.
They were so good.
I'm like, hey, that guy from that guy that owns that company, he's like, have you had these cake pops?
And yeah. But then, you know what I was going to ask you too, Nick? Did you buy that beer that you left with? Or
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because I thought, I was watching you and I thought he was being sneaky. And I thought, how sneaky is this guy? He just literally took a case of beer and walked out of it.
And asked him for a bag.
Yeah, and I was like, and I forgot in the back of my head, I was like, I hope he paid for it, but maybe he didn't because he's been drinking.
Well, because it was kind of like there was a fridge with all the beer and you could just take whatever cans you wanted. So I kind of thought he just took a few.
So did I. And then he's walking with his bag and he drops one.
I was so happy.
No.
Because I was like, I was going to bring stuff back to my room and just have a little party by myself.
No, this beer drops and it starts like shooting beer out. And Nick, I'm not really sure, but clearly wasn't in the right frame of mind, takes it and then like sprays it on the patio, the glass partition going into the patio of a restaurant. And Blake and I are like, shotgun it. And he's just like, spreading it all over the
Think you were power washing with beer? What was happening?
What I was trying to do was I was trying to set it down somewhere, but I couldn't see the glass partition. And so I it was like, Nikes. Oh, no, that's glass too. And so then there's beer spraying everywhere. And then I didn't want it to spray on me. So eventually, yes, I did get it open. And
thank God it was late at night.
I was going to say, I'm glad that you embarrassed yourself, but I also, unfortunately, embarrassed myself at one of the parties too. And I don't think John J. Rich or Nick, you know the story. Kyle knows this story because she did it. It's her fault.
What's my
What'd
fault?
you do?
What? This is how I knew I needed to leave Dennis's party. Okay, I knew I had way too many drinks and I needed to get the heck up out of there because Stacy was at the party, Rich's wife, Blake was at the party, John Jay's wife, and Kyle's friend Stephanie was at the party, and they asked me to take a picture of them, and I got so mad. I said, how dare you guys ask me to take a picture of you? I should be in the picture.
You should be in the picture.
And I lit every single one of them up. And right after that, I walked away and said, I need to go home.
I heard about that.
She did yell. She was yelling. I was like, oh my gosh, that is so stupid. Why would we ask you to take the picture?
I was so pissed.
Of course you could be in it. It's because we didn't know any of the other people around us. But
anyway,
That is
you're
so
right.
funny.
I
You
knew
guys
that
And then
was
we took
my
another
time to
one
go.
with you in it.
I'm pretty sure I dropped the B word a couple of times. So I was like, oh, y'all some
Who asked you to
bitches
take
up
the
in here.
picture? Who asked you to take the picture?
Kyle asked me to
No, I didn't. It wasn't me.
Were you like, excuse
No, it was
me?
Blake.
Blake
Oh,
asked
Blake
me
did?
to take the picture.
this is how bad it was.
You were so
She didn't
drunk,
even
you don't know who asked you to take the
Exactly.
picture.
I knew I needed to go. I was not happy with the 4 of them.
So the night that Nick spilled the beer, my friend Brad was with us, right? And Brad is like, 6'6", like 290 pounds, tall guy. And when I met Brad, and you can hear this in the podcast of my life, of my career, but when I met Brad, I thought I'd get professional and I dropped the J in my name, so I went by John, right? So Brad mostly met me as John, so he calls me as John. And we were leaving that restaurant, and there was a 7-Eleven across the street, and there were all these homeless people in front of the 7-Eleven, and Blake wanted water, so I was gonna go in and get water, and Brad goes, "Really, John?" Right?
Yeah. So John Jay's like, I have to stop and get water, right? And listen, it was a little scary. They were like sort of blocking the entrance. It looked not super safe of a situation for John to be getting himself in. And so the majority of us just sort of keep walking, and really loudly he goes, "Really, John?"
Right.
And they heard.
You're right.
They heard, and they're like, "What's the big deal? We're just neighborhood kids."
So the next day, whatever it was, Blake and I are alone. We're flying home on the airplane, whatever, right? And she says to me, "I think the winning phrase of the weekend is 'Really, John?'" Right? I'm like, I don't remember anybody else repeating that. Maybe Kyle, or whatever, right?
I did.
Okay, so last night I'm getting ready for bed, and I got to get my CPAP. I'm so insecure about my CPAP breathing machine, and I've got it hooked up to this oxygen tank, and it has 80 feet of tubing now, right? And I roll it up when I leave in the morning. I roll it up so it's not in Blake's way at all. But I was so tired of going
You
to
say
bed.
that like that's so normal. Like everybody's got one of those.
No, I got it. Goes from out our bed. The tube goes down the bed, out to the hallway, into the bathroom, and into the closet where the oxygen tank is, and it goes by her sink in the bathroom. So she's like in her underwear with the tank top on, and she's brushing her teeth, and I'm like, I got to get this tubing, but she's in the way. So I'm just like, I'm so tired. So I wheel it out, and I just put it over her. Like around, like I go over her with the tube, and I go to
As
continue.
if she is like an end table that you have to kind of like skirt it around.
I put it over her, and then I start. It doesn't bother her, and she just goes, "Really, John? Really, Jen?" And I was like, "Oh my god." So overall, what'd you think of the whole thing? Let's hear from you, Nick. First, what'd you think of boot camp?
No, I thought it was great, and I think like what stuck out to me instantly is. I don't know if you guys know this, but John Jay claims like he's not really a people person. He doesn't like being around people. He doesn't like being places. But he was the belle of the ball. The two of you were so on your game the entire time we were there. And the amount of people, it was like, I don't want to say I was annoyed, but I was kind of like at one point, I looked at Kyle, I was like, can we just get lunch and not be stopped by 40 people? Because you guys were just like... You were so good. Both of you were. I mean, it was just impressive, and you really saw the kind of the full scope of the show, and the influence and impression it leaves on people. Like,
Oh, that was really well said. I guess we don't have to do any more.
All right, see you guys.
No more opinions.
Can you guys compete with that?
Anyway, I spilled beer all over my crotch as well, but
Yeah, that's cool.
we can go on.
Yeah.
We can go on to Kyle.
I love that for you.
What'd you think of the whole thing, Kyle?
I thought it was awesome. I really did. And I'm like, I've been working with you guys for 16 years. And I finally got invited to go to boot camp.
You made it, babe. You made it.
No, I did. I liked it more than I thought I was going to.
Oh, that's good.
But I'm not like, at one point I even said to Peyton, and I'll go ahead and mirror what Nick was saying, is like, John Jay and Rich, I've always noticed every trip that we've gone on, I feel like I've complimented, like, your networking skills are just like second to none, except for Peyton too. She's like, yeah, we're going to connect or whatever. And I'm like, no one's connecting with me. I talk to people and I talked to a bunch of people, but like the networking part of the game, I just like,
I thought you
I'm
did
on the
awesome.
bench. I'm on the bench for
That's because you're like really good looking and people are intimidated
I
by
don't
you.
think so.
Yeah,
Oh,
totally.
I thought you guys
I am.
all did
Yeah.
great.
I'm afraid to talk to you.
I have a very similar problem.
For sure.
You do.
Well, you guys all did good. You all chatted up with people and were great. I thought I was very impressed by you.
I was so uncomfortable talking to people, and so a lot of times I had my
seem
phone.
like
I
it, though.
pretend
Yeah,
I was
you
on my
really don't
phone
seem
so
like
no one would talk to me.
When you threw me the invite to that dinner and then
left.
and I was just like, I'm in with the wolves now. I guess I'm going.
The guy says to me, great guy. He says, hey, you gonna come to the dinner tonight at 8:00? And I said, oh man, Nick's here. Nick, you should go to the dinner or something like that. And then I turned around and I walked out.
It was like I walked into that party and it was like a turnstile. I walked in, I grabbed my drink, I came back to John Jay, and he was like, all right, well, I guess see you guys later.
Well, I text you. I think I said, are you going to that party? It's downstairs. There's a line. I don't want to wait in line. And then I think you're like, there is no line. So at one point there was no line. So I went in. You
Right.
weren't even here yet, Kyle. So I just walk in and I tell Nick, I'm going to go one time around and I'm out. And that's what I did.
Yeah.
And then
It was not an exaggeration. It was one time and he was gone.
yeah. It was funny. I've been to this thing. How many times you gone to this boot camp, Rich?
Well, so I started going when I was 17. That was
Okay,
the
big
first-
flexer.
Well, no, but we didn't go for about 8 years, probably, right? 8 or 9
Well, how many
years?
times have you gone? You think?
Probably 15.
I counted as many times I've gone. 4 times I've gone.
Oh, really?
4 times, yeah. And I don't know if they're going to do it in San Diego again, but I don't really want to go again. Like I
Why?
don't.
You didn't like it
You
there?
don't want to go anywhere though, John.
I
Jay,
know, that's my
literally,
problem,
You
ever.
is
didn't
like
like it there? I thought it was great
I
there.
liked it. I thought it was great. But I think I need a break from these people for longer than a year. And I mean that in the nicest way possible.
I feel you.
What if I've already committed us to a few things next year? For
OMG.
I mean,
It does get to a point where you just don't want to talk anymore.
Well,
Yeah.
yes, that even happened to me. I was telling John Jay, I'm like, I don't know what happened. Maybe it was post-COVID, but there's a certain point where you're on a lot, right?
Takes a lot of
And
energy.
I just had to leave all of it for a
we
second.
know.
Yeah, but you know what?
We know.
I've been to this event with you before,
And I've never left any of it.
Never with your wife.
I'm
Your
usually
wife
right in
was
the
at this event, so you were probably dealing with her or whatever because you left a bunch of times to go
Well,
see her.
actually, that was fine because she's like, "I'll see you when I see you. I'm going to go do my own thing." But for me, just there was just like a certain amount of. It's just like a lot of noise, and I had to peace out for a little bit. I just had to.
Yeah.
Well,
That's never happened to me before. Normally, I thrive in those environments. That's my happy place in those environments. But around a lot of radio people, that's a lot of the same kind of energy, you know?
It's a lot of big personalities, but
Lot
it
of
was
big
entertaining as well.
Springing off that dinner, though, one of the guys that was there, John Jay, he was like, "Hey, is it okay if for next year I apply to lead a panel and you and John Jay be on it?" And I was like, "Yes."
you can be on it. Why do I have to
I
be
was
on
like,
it?
1,000%. We both are in. Like, let's go.
Here's the
I'm
thing.
really looking forward to it.
It's like, let's say, like there's a lot of those guys I really, really like. You know, like Mojo.
Yeah.
I love that guy. You know, Paul Castronovo in Miami. I love that guy. I would go like a much smaller session to go see that. Something smaller. I don't know, man.
You know, it
It's
was
just
a lot bigger than it has been in the last couple of years because I went last year too, and there was maybe about 150, maybe max last year.
I heard
How
there
many
was
people you
700
think was
people.
there?
There's a lot
There
of people.
was
this
a lot
year.
of
Over
people
700
there.
people. It was over. It
had to be 500
Somebody
plus.
told me that the count was 789 was the last
Wow.
time they counted. 789 radio personalities from around the country.
That's a lot
the
of
world.
professional yappers.
I know.
That's
sure.
what my friends named us all, by the way.
Like I,
mean,
feel like
they're not wrong.
Professional yappers.
it could be one day. I don't think it needs to be 2 days.
I
Yeah.
agree, and Nick said this the other day while we were talking a little bit about this on the show, that like the sessions could have been about a half hour, 45 minutes. I
For
think.
sure.
It's like this is like totally pulling back the curtains, but like ppm.
Yeah, no, literally.
I said that to my friend. I
I
text
said that to Nick.
shorten
my
it up.
friend who runs a radio station, he was in the crowd and somebody was talking too long, and I text him, I go ppm. He just sends back a question mark. I was like, oh yeah, he doesn't know we use that in real life.
That means shorten it up. You can start using it at your jobs.
Yeah.
When something goes, just ppm. Just keep
Yeah.
it shorter.
It was really fun though, and kind of to piggyback off of what Nick and Kyle said too, like with you and John Jay, or Rich and John Jay. Like it's cool to see you guys like out there because it's like we get to work with you guys every day, so like we just know the ins and outs, and it's like the fact that y'all really are legends out there is really dope.
Oh.
It is cool, and it's
Ow.
true. I mean, you guys got a shout out on
start.
damn near every panel. Like, you know what I mean?
true.
Like, I'm
Tell
being
more.
serious.
True.
No, I mean, you're welcome. You're welcome for boosting your ego a little bit. But it was cool to see people my age, I gotta say.
There's a lot of people your age.
Yeah.
What do you say? You like never see people your age
saw-
because we're
Not
all
really.
freaking older than you.
Yeah,
That's cool,
basically.
Peyton.
Not
Bye.
you.
What?
Not you.
No
I
wonder
saw
you-
people
No
younger.
wonder you
I,
asked to take a picture.
I talked to people younger than you. I talked to a program director and a morning show host
silence was
that are at
really
Syracuse, going to university.
them too.
Yeah, they were very nice.
Yeah, that was
They
cool.
were really sweet.
I thought both of these kids are at the university in Syracuse, and they're want to get in radio, and they're here to learn. And I thought, my
Awesome.
God, they're going to
Okay.
go far.
Yeah,
they'll
that's
make
dope.
Did you happen to catch her name?
It's like Alana or something.
Okay, do
I
you
just
know her
started following
last name?
I started following her on my fake Instagram account.
Yeah.
What?
Do you know her last name? Epstein. Because I was like, oh, she asked something about like, we were talking about social media. I was like, oh, what is your social media? I'll follow you. And I went on and I was like, something Epstein. I was like, no relation, right? She's like, no, I get that all the time. And now I think I probably got to use a stage name. And I was like, probably not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Well, I said to her, she goes, Epstein. I go, oh, like the bagels? And she goes, that's Einstein. I go, well, there's an Epstein's by my house.
No, there is not.
Epstein's big.
Terrible.
No good.
I haven't been paying attention, but I happened to hear a keyword that I thought we weren't allowed to bring up on the show anymore.
Somebody turn him
Talking
off.
about Epstein? By any chance?
It's my bad.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Turn him off.
Okay.
It was dope.
All right. Okay, you guys. Okay, that's a good afterwards podcast. So is this the kind of podcast where I think, do we just post this on YouTube? Let's just post this on YouTube. You want
Post
to?
it on the YouTube.
Unless you pull out a cool clip and maybe you can post that on a normal Instagram. But what if you take the full YouTube video?
You've been hanging
What?
out with Rich too long.
Wait, come up here. I can hear you talking about and keep all this in
I
the
thought that was
podcast.
really funny. That's how you know she has.
You wouldn't
I can't hear you, Jenna.
Jenna, use your microphones.
What are you saying? Yeah, use the teaser for the podcast. Yeah, perfect. Afterwards.
Yeah, and
okay.
then use it on the you.
All right, thank you, Jenna. Thank you, Noah, for taping. You can post this up on our podcast. Post it up today. Okay, thanks.
Swearing.
What happened?
Post it on the Yube.